guys, we're going to talk a little pitching today, and I'm not taking all day like your normal pitching clinic. I'm going to do it under 5 minutes. You ready? Everything you need to know about pitching in under 5 minutes. Here we go, start the clock. All right. When it comes to pitching, you want to have a pre-game routine. What I used to like to do is listen to some good music. Start off with some a little bit more mellow stuff to get your mind right. Start thinking about the game and how you're going to approach the hitters, and then start cranking that music up to where you're getting some of that hard stuff and you're really feeling the energy in you so that you're ready to go when you go out there on the field. But the most important thing that you need to know when it comes to pre-game routine is know what your routine is and be consistent with it. Have a timeline of when you're going to go down the field, when you're going to stretch, when you're going to warm up, how much throwing you're going to do. Okay? Be consistent with it and know your routine. Next, let's talk about the setup. So when you actually get out there in the game, all right, I'm going to talk about from the stretch. When you set up, you want to come staggered with your setup. The reason why you want to be staggered with your feet and not straight in a line or open this way is because it makes it a lot easier for you to set your weight on your back leg here and just lift this leg up and lead with your hips, okay? Which brings me to my next point. We're going to break down the leg lift into 3 different parts. First is going to be the setup here. Lifting that leg up is 1. Breaking the hips is number 2. And then bringing the leg down and back is number 3. Now, even though I broke that down into 3 parts, in reality, it's going to be one fluid movement. So it's going to be leg lift, breaking the hip, leg down, but it's happening all together. So it's going to look a little something like this. All right? It's going to be alignment when you land. This is a big one, okay? If I'm starting here on my rubber and I go to land, I want my foot to be straight on this line, heel to heel. So when I land, boom, I want to be straight out in a straight line with my foot going forward. This allows my hips to open up to a good point. If I'm too far closed off or my toe is too far closed, I'm going to be trying to work against myself, throwing across my body. If I'm too far open this way, I'm going to be doing the opposite effect, okay? Losing too much out this way, all right? Now that's important because hip to shoulder separation is where you're going to get a lot of your velocity. There was a study done that shows 80% of your pitching velocity comes from hip to shoulder separation. But before we get into that, let's talk about the arm path and hand separation, okay? Your hands want to separate down low here, and you want to break them at an angle, 45 degrees or more. So if I'm pitching straight to you and I break my hands, I want to be 45 degrees, not straight to you. 45 degrees or more closed, okay? Because this puts me in a good spot when and the back arm is going to be the same, back this way. It's not going straight back, we're going back this way, okay? Because if I do that, that puts me into a good spot when I get into my thoracic extension or scap load. Thoracic extension, all that means is just big chest, okay? Curvature in your upper spine. Your scap load is when your elbows go back and you're pinching your scaps together like that. If you're in a good angle with your arm path, you're going to be able to unwind with that scap load, and then when you come up, you're going to be in a good hip to shoulder separation. That's why arm path in the beginning is very important, okay? If you break straight out, you're not setting yourself up for good hip to shoulder separation. Now, what's the timing on breaking the hands? You want to start moving forward first before you separate those hands. Okay? You're not separating early and then going. You're going down the mound and then separating. Alright? Now, hip to shoulder separation. All that is if my hips are going forward, right here, right? My back foot's actually going to be up at this point. So if my hips are going forward, how far separated can my hips go to my shoulder back here? Actually, this arm's going to be like this because we already got through our scap load. But how far back can this arm get? And that separation, just like in hitting, is going to be that tension in the midsection, the torque that we can unwind with and let all that energy back out in front, okay? That's why that's important. 80% of your energy, your velocity, comes through hip to shoulder separation. Next, let's talk about the release point. The best release point is not way out here. It's going to be right here in a straight line. If I drew a line straight down my arm, it should go down my arm, down my back, down my butt. This is going to be in a little bit, and then down through my heel. The rubber is going to be back here. Let's say that's the rubber. Okay? That's going to be a good release point. My glove is going to be right about here right now. I'm not going to be pulling it all the way in. I'm going to block it off here, and then my front leg is going to be straight. I'm going to block my rotational energy off with this and block my linear energy off with this. And once that hits, all that energy hits this wall, boom, boom, that energy is going to go right through that ball at my release point. Okay? Now after that, my glove can finish rotating and I can show my back to the other side, the other dugout over here. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about philosophy. First pitch strike. You want to get ahead. If you pitch ahead, you're going to be more successful. You want to try to get batters out for 3 pitches or less. In a 1-1 count, you want to throw your best pitch of that day for a strike. You want to throw a strike because if you throw a strike, you're 1-2. If you throw a ball, you're 2-1. Huge differences in the batting averages there. You want to throw your best pitch of the day because every day is different and it's a swinging count. You don't want to throw meatballs up there. As a pitcher, your job is to disrupt balance and timing, the batters. How do you disrupt balance and timing? You throw fast pitches and slow pitches. You throw inside and you throw outside. Throw up and you throw down. That's how you disrupt balance and timing. If you do that, you're going to be a successful pitcher. Most important thing of that is pitch inside, especially at the lower levels. If you control the inside part of the plate, you're going to open up the whole rest of the plate and make that batter feel uncomfortable. So pitch inside. Now, pitching accuracy. There's a few things you need when you're trying to be accurate pitching. First is consistency. You want to be consistent what you're doing on the mound so that you're consistent in the strike zone. You want to have conviction when you're pitching. That means you have total belief that you're going to hit the spot that you're trying to hit. You also want to visualize the pitch before it happens. You want to see it happen before it does and then throw the same pitch. It's a lot easier to execute that pitch when you see it happen before you actually throw it. And then you want to have body control. That just means controlling your body down the mound, which brings us back to consistency. How do you work on body control? That's the strength and conditioning that you're doing in the off season or during the week to keep your body strong and under control when you're pitching. Now, don't worry about the things you cannot change, like errors. You can't do anything about your shortstop making an error. Pick him up. He doesn't want to make an error, all right? Bad calls. You can't worry about bad calls by the umpire. You can't change that. Just got to do your job. Keep on trucking. 26 hoppers through the 6 hole. If you throw a perfect pitch and this guy rolls over and it's just perfectly placed where the third baseman and shortstop can't get it, hey, you did your job. Keep it up. Stay positive and go get that next guy. Don't worry about the things you cannot control. But do worry about the things that you can control. Focus on that thing. Those things like attacking the zone, commanding your fastball, your mindset, energy, dedication, commitment, competitiveness, will, drive, and heart. Get the job done and don't have any excuses. That's pitching in under 5 minutes for you.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and then join the free newsletter at yougoprobaseball.com.